Hello, we are back after a few months out. We were supposed to come back about 5 weeks ago. Damn, what happened?
Distractions.
Distractions, uni, women,
Drink.
drink. Oh yeah, I don't drink anymore, do I? That's what's happened.
Such a joke.
Today's pod is basically unscripted, so we've got two new guests on the show. Would you like to introduce yourselves, boys?
Hi, I am Michael. I also, unfortunately, do the course with these two.
Was that fortunately or unfortunately?
Fortunately on the course, unfortunately with you two. I think.
Good save, good save. Cole?
My name's Cole.
No, really.
I'm 23 years old. I'm an aspiring sports journalist.
Yeah, Cole, you don't need to do that.
I'm an avid / distressed
USW
Cardiff City
star.
fan.
Cole, be yourself,
I'm trying to be
please.
professional.
I love that question. Cole, what's your name? Cole.
Right, anyway, best place to start, Dan. Shitty City.
We weren't too shitty, actually. We weren't too shitty on the weekend. The referee was shitty. Simon Hooper, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what game he was watching, but 2-2. If you would ask me at half time if I'd have taken a 2-2 draw, I would have said yeah, but 90 minutes, second half, as that went on, like, Cardiff could have easily won that. It's just a shame that Simon Hooper was reffing.
Yeah, he was shit, like, but Volk should have got red, shouldn't he, surely?
I don't know. I love Will Volk. Biased, yeah. Neutral, he probably should have, but as a bias, like, he's such a shit house and I love it. Like Callum Patterson, I just love the attitude.
Cole, you were there?
I think the decisions against us this season definitely outweigh the decisions that have gone for us. And, you know, in the last two games, we've been denied probably about 3-4 clear penalties.
It was never a free kick for Brentford's goal. That was never a free kick. Hoylett should have had a penalty. Like, the referee, how many handballs were there against us? How many fouls were let go? Will Volks got hacked down off the ball, middle of the park, didn't even get pulled back advantage or a yellow. Will Volks did then the exact same thing, and yeah, that should have been a yellow and a free kick. But it's got to be consistent. It wasn't consistent.
Was the referee from Guildford by any chance?
Got a lot of explaining to do, Mike.
Well, I have seen a few people say that the refs don't like Wales. So,
Well, like you.
I mean, I wouldn't like to comment. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
But how good are English referees anyway? There was none at the Russian World Cup, so.
How good are any referees really?
Like, do you
As
know,
fans and players, we don't like referees. You don't agree with what they say. They're always either one's good and the other side thinks they're rubbish. So you're always going to get a set of fans or players thinking they're poor.
I think the rivalries in England are much more prominent than the Wales-England rivalry. I think that will play a bigger part. I think a lot of refs in England, Cardiff will really have no real relevance to them. So I don't think that will play a major part, really. I think it's more likely they will be biased against, you know, say they're from Manchester United fan, they'll probably be biased against City. That's probably more of a real...
Could you imagine Mike Dean, who was refereeing the club he supports?
He
literally admitted to calling the referee a wanker in the stands.
On the podcast,
Literally admitted to it.
Yeah.
Do you think he's a bit of a knob, though, really, isn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's a human being.
Yeah, he is, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's
My
TV
opinion's
gold.
changed with him since that podcast. To be fair, I thought he came across quite well.
He's a human being. That's what I liked about him.
Yeah, but he said, like, you have to go on the pitch with a bit of arrogance. Do you get what I mean?
Well, yeah, you probably have to. You have to show a bit of authority. You have to come on and believe in you're above the rest of them because you're the authority figure.
Well,
I guess
Mike,
when you're dealing with egos that big as well,
Yeah.
you've got to have something about.
Imagine refereeing Cristiano Ronaldo as Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You have to believe you're bigger than them, and they believe they're bigger than anybody. So, like, I get the arrogant side of it. Yeah.
well, Mike, you play for the thirds, on occasion the firsts.
Do you?
I don't think anyone's mentioned
You've never mentioned it
It's
before.
never been mentioned before.
I don't
Are you the
mention
star
it.
player?
Yeah, I don't mention it.
He does get VIP in prison, by the way. Would you say you're respectful to referees?
I am now.
Because me and Dan saw an incident that you should get praise for, really.
Oh yeah.
If you want to talk us through it, the
Fair
penalty
play-
incident.
Fair play award.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a friendly. So
Oh, so-
I don't want to hide
So-
out too much.
so if that was a final-
if that was a league game, I'd have been telling the ref to send him off.
Yeah, so basically, Mikey, they played a friendly and went down for a penalty, and the referee gave a penalty, and he told him that he fell.
I slipped.
What a
So I land on the side of my boots and no studs, and just slipped straight on the wet 3G. So, and I didn't appeal for a foul or anything. The ref just pointed to the spot, and I was like, "No, it's not."
Did he give you yellow?
No, I think if he'd have put me for diving, I'd have been a bit miffed by it because I didn't I didn't appeal or anything.
Okay, so you're in a final of, and it's like the last minute. Do you say that's
I've gone down like I've been shot, mate.
like what's his name, Stephen Taylor,
And
on the line for Newcastle?
yeah, I've been rolling around. Magic Sponge would have to come on. Yeah, I think my reaction would have been... I like to think that my fair play instincts would have kicked in, but I know for sure that it wouldn't have.
The Greta Thunberg of football, of the lower leagues. Well, actually, something really weird happened on the weekend. Cardiff didn't lose, West Ham won, and Liverpool lost. So I'm in a minority right now, and I...
Yeah. Well, never rate Liverpool.
I have been saying for a long time that it'll be a team down the bottom.
I thought it was going to be your team, actually,
and
Mike.
I did think that West Ham did well, came close. I didn't expect it to be the next game that you lost, to be honest.
Are you gutted by that? Obviously, Mike's a West Ham fan.
Not necessarily, because it's that performance kind of put us in a good place to then go and beat Southampton as well as we did, which we had to win, otherwise we're in real trouble. I mean, you can't really be that bothered about losing to Liverpool no matter what happens.
I think Liverpool just took their foot off the gas a bit, because they have the league wrapped up, let's be honest. They're doing alright in the Champions League. You know, they just a case of taking their foot off the gas against a team they probably thought they could beat without actually going any higher than second gear, to be honest.
Yeah. Have you seen West Ham's fixtures, though?
Yes, we're in a tough
Arsenal away, Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Chelsea at home.
Yeah, and we've just played Man City and Liverpool in recent weeks.
In like three times in space of 4 games, wasn't it?
So yeah, it's a tricky period, but as I said, had to beat Southampton, which we have. It's just a shame that all the other teams down the bottom won as well. Kind of needed quality. Liverpool to do us a favour, but
there's a lot of quality in the relegation battle.
That's mad. The one time you need to rely on Liverpool, Watford get out of the relegation zone.
And also, just a quick note on my fantasy team that Salah's absolutely ruined it this week. So thanks for that.
I'd never pick him, but he's the sort of player when you take him out, then you score.
Since I've brought him in, since Liverpool have struggled, so maybe it's my fault that Liverpool didn't go unbeaten. So you're welcome, everyone.
Let's go back to Cardiff. Obviously, us 3 were at the game on Saturday. Is the playoffs out of question now, Cole?
I don't think it is just yet. It's purely because it's still 5 points. 5 points in the Championship that can be earned, within like a matter of weeks. And that could, if we can pull together a few back-to-back wins again, we're straight back into it. But I think in the Championship you can just fall down a hole as well at the same time. Well, I think. I was very optimistic up until the point where Lee Tomlin obviously was ruled out for the rest of the season.
There's a funny video of Dan crying in the car.
Yeah. But I don't think we've relied on a player so much as we have with him in a long
times.
time. Can you think of anyone we've relied on more, like an individual in our team?
Darren Pearce.
Before then, you'd probably look at Michael Chopra. Or something like probably.
Yeah, well, with Chopra, he was another player. You had that sense of inevitability.
He had players around him, though, like Peter Whittingham, Jay Bothroyd, and players like that. Chris Burke, who could create something anyway. Like something.
Whereas Tomlin is making the whole
whereas
team tick.
So if Chopra was off, you still got them to back him up. Whereas if it's Lee Tomlin, if he's off, chances are your whole team's going to be off, and that's the worst thing you can do.
Now our players are scrapping in the games.
Wasn't Gunnarsson like a hero at Cardiff?
Yeah,
somewhat.
And is he missed now?
Yeah. I thought he was missed the moment we played without him. When he was out injured, I thought we'd miss him. He's just one of those, do or die, gives 100% every game, stalwart type players that you don't know you miss them until they're gone. Yeah. That's the kind of player he is.
Yeah.
He was somewhat underappreciated.
Yeah.
You've noticed it so much more when he's gone. And it's we've sort of lost the spine of our team, really. I'd say Bruno Manga was arguably our best defender. We lost him.
Yeah.
Gunnarsson was a live
so
part
good,
of the middle.
so good at breaking up the play.
We lost obviously last season. We had Camarasa and Arthur on loan, which added a bit of quality.
Where's Camarasa now?
Just to touch on that quality now, Tomlin's out. Does that just show a lack of quality within the squad? And are you overachieving to be where you are in the league at the moment?
I wouldn't say overachieving, because this league is such a complex league. To describe this league to someone who's not really into football is like trying to describe colour to a blind man. It's just impossible. It's such a topsy-turvy league. Bottom team can easily beat top team, so I don't think we're sort of overachieving, because the teams that are below us aren't exactly, I don't think, any better for quality than us by country mile. Because if on paper we should be pushing for the playoffs with or without Tomlin, we should, we're going into the season, we didn't think Tomlin would be part of the squad. We thought he'd be leaving. So And even then, we still thought we should be pushing for the playoffs with the squad that we have. But
then we lost Bobby Reid.
Players like Murphy have not hit the form we thought they would. Mendes-Lang's out for the season. It's like just certain things have happened. Joe Rolls has been in and out with injuries as well. Like defensively, they've just gone completely changed. Like Sol Bamba's no longer the player he once was as well because of age and injuries. So I just don't. As in a lot of circumstances, I think that have sort of been detriment to our playoff hopes. But I don't think we're overachieving. Probably.
Well, you're 11th.
Yeah, but
Swansea are 9th.
How many points is that off the playoffs though?
5 points off.
See, that's mad.
But it's crazy how equally crap you've been alongside Swansea because you've scored 50 and conceded 50.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you've got a goal difference of none, and Swansea have scored 46, conceded 45. So they've got a goal difference of 1, and they're only a point ahead of Cardiff.
Then defensively, Cardiff are just there's just nothing about them defensively, nothing about them attacking. I said this the other day though. What are they working on in training? Like, you see, each team will go over their philosophy in training, their style of play, and you can probably more or less pinpoint their style of play. You know, they go through the drills and all this. I cannot tell you. I could probably not figure out what Cardiff do in terms of their style of play. What do they practice in training? What drills? What's their style of play? Like, what do they do? What are they about?
I think we're in a transitional period now from the season we got promoted with Warnock. We played a style which was not pretty but very effective, and I think with Harris, our possession stats have upped. We're playing a lot more passes regularly. We're trying to actually get the ball on the ground and play in our defence. There's a lot more passing in our own half, especially. So I think at the moment it's a transitional period.
I'm all for playing football.
Harris is trying to implement something new, but he hasn't got the players for it at the moment.
I'm all for something new though. Like, I think a lot of the times you see they find themselves caught into a point where they're not used to the passing game, so then they resort to the long ball. The amount of times though, like, it's so frustrating. They get it to the corner flag into the opponent's half, and then they pass it all the way back to Smithies, who just boots up field to lose possession. And how it happens so constantly. It's happened the last few games, and it's so frustrating to watch because you think, oh, here we go, they're passing it about, got a good position, and then they'll waste it. And that's your lack of cutting edge. But I've never seen a team who love to play the long ball so much be so reluctant to cross it in when you've got a 6'4" striking Glatzel, Danny Ward, who's deceptively good in the air. Why aren't they just do not cross the ball in like half of it when two of their goals on the weekend came from balls into the box, but they just every time Joe Bennett would get it, or say I don't know Doma may get it, or Hoylett would get it, they'd just pass it around between them before giving it back to the defence or just lose it. And it's just like I can pinpoint now about 10 easy fixes in Cardiff's team, but they do not fix them. And that's the frustrating thing. You can see what they need to work on, but they don't work on it. And that's I think the thing holding them back at the moment.
And Mike, West Ham are only outside of the relegation zone on goal difference. Is it harder than ever, you think? If they go down to the Championship, would it be harder than ever to get it back out of it? Especially with an 80,000 seated stadium.
We don't have a great record of getting out of the Championship easily. We like to go through the playoffs, which I mean it's exciting, but at the same time I would rather we just went and won the league by 20 points. It'd be interesting to see how many players left, because I think if we did get relegated, there'd be a lot of high-profile players leaving. The likes of Felipe Anderson, Lanzini, Haller, all on big money. They're not going to want to play in the Championship, and I don't really blame them. But at the same time, they're part of the team that's got relegated, so they're going to be teams in the Premier League that particularly want them, probably go back abroad.
So what happens to the stadium then if they go down? Do they have to stay in it, or would they have to relocate? Because, you know, if you think about it, it could probably only have about 20,000 people in there.
I don't think that'll happen, because we used to sell out Upton Park in the Championship, which was more than 20,000. I think the fan base that West Ham have is still is strong enough to make it worthwhile, but also you've got to remember that we're not actually paying that much for it, so even if it was half empty, it's a bit rubbish for the fans and for the players, but at the same time, like, it's something that the owners have gone for. But I don't want to talk about the owners too much. But
I feel quite depressed talking about this.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to talk about as a West Ham fan. But just to touch on the owners, I was reading every article I seem to read. It seems to be every man and his dog putting his 2 pence in about why West Ham fans complaining, why are they protesting for a relegation fight. It's like, well, because if we were top 4, we probably wouldn't be too bothered about it.
On paper, that team should be playing.
The fact that we're underperforming as badly as we have been, and I mean, Gold and Sullivan have been in charge for nearly 10 years, and nothing's changed. We haven't got better. We haven't progressed. We haven't played in Europe. We brought in a big name manager, Pellegrini, who they didn't particularly back. They signed some players that haven't performed, and then they got rid of him, and they've gone backwards and signed someone they sacked before anyway. Yeah. So you can as a West Ham fan, I obviously understand why the fans are frustrated, and it's just irritating seeing people who aren't fans saying, "Oh, they need to get behind the team." The fans are 100% behind the team. Like the fans are. They're not behind the board. Would you say they're similar to Cardiff City fans then? Because, Cardiff City fans have been very vocal, haven't they? Especially on Josh Murphy, who...
the treatment of Josh Murphy, for me personally, is nothing short of a disgrace. I find it so hypocritical that the people asking him to do the Ayatollah on the weekend were the same people booing him off or cheering him off the other day. So I think that's a disgrace. But, you said about the owners, right? And you said about how, you don't everyone's thrown in their opinions and all this. The other couple of weeks back, they played Man City, and they lost, and probably you expected to lose that against Manchester City, but not by much. And I think they were at home, right?
It was at Man City.
Oh, it was at Man City, but you could have there was probably a goal there for you. You left Anderson or Lanzini on the bench.
Yeah, it's the setup. It was so negative.
You can't blame owners for decisions like that.
No, I mean
Anderson is coming back from injury though.
Anderson is coming back from injury, but
and he was terrible against Liverpool.
The fans weren't particularly pleased with David Moyes being brought back in. He wasn't that popular when he was first there. He wasn't that popular when they've brought him back in. I mean, it was supposed to be a low risk appointment. In that he'll keep us safe and stuff, but they haven't. I mean, they've won 2 games since he's come in. Obviously, the win against Southampton at the weekend was great, and they won his first game in charge at Bournemouth. And you look at the 2 teams we beat. Bournemouth at the time was struggling, and they're still struggling. Southampton aren't really playing for much anymore. And then you look at the teams that we're losing to or drawing to, like we threw away a 3-1 lead at home to Brighton.
That was dreadful.
So, and you look at the team on paper that we have at the start of the season, you're thinking, well, I was certainly thinking that this team's got to be looking at trying to push
top 6. That's what they'd say.
You got to be pushing for it at least, but to not even challenge the way they have.
Yeah, to see Sheffield United up there, you must be thinking
the majority of their players come from the lower leagues.
Yeah.
I can't fathom Declan Rice, right? Tipped to be this next big thing, next big holder midfielder, England international, all this. Probably tipped for the Euros. Nothing from him this season. I've seen nothing that's remotely suggested to me that he's the next
He drifts
star.
in and out of games. I think when he has a good start to a game, then he bosses it. But when he can't get into a game, it's like Mikey will know better than us.
I do disagree in the sense that I think he still is one of the best holding midfielders in the league, purely on his defensive work. On the ball, I think he's nothing special on the ball, but how much work he has to get through playing for us. I mean, I love Mark Noble, always will.
Yeah, Mark Noble.
He's coming to the end. His legs are going. Yeah. You look at who else he's got in midfield. I mean, Fornals is new to the league. He's improving every week, but he's still not quite there in centre mid. Jack Wilshire's not played all year. Suchek, the new lad from Slavia Prague, who's come in, he looks quite good, and he looks if he's got the legs to actually support Declan Rice, but he's now injured. It'd be interesting to see if Rice ever played in a midfield where he doesn't have to do everything, because he's not a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Maybe he, I don't know, got into Chelsea's team, or do you feel that he'd go up that gear and prove he belongs there?
I think he would, because I think he wouldn't be expected to do everything, and I think when he plays for England, people who don't watch him enough or don't know enough about him expect him to be this big young talent who's playing amazing passes, scoring goals. That's not his game.
Yeah.
He was a centre-back growing up. He is just a holding midfielder. His defensive work is brilliant. So when England don't need him playing against Bulgaria,
no,
that's not. There's no point playing him. Play Winks. because Winks would get the ball down and get the team going. That's not Rice's game.
I think he'll struggle to start ahead of Henderson, Winks in midfield for England.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Ali as well, probably. Maybe, if it depends what the form he's on.
It sounds bizarre, but the only time I would play Rice in an England shirt is against the top teams. When we're defending, he will snuff out more danger than the other players who are a bit more offensive minded. Other than that, I wouldn't bother. There's no point having him. It's like having Eric Dyer in the team against San Marino. Like, what's the point? It's futile.
Yeah.
Do you not think there's a reoccurring problem with English youngsters, that there's so much pressure and weight put on their shoulders at such a young age?
I think it's also the criticism. People are so quick to jump on them, mostly rival fans. Like obviously being a West Ham fan, the Spurs rivalry. There's Winks is better than Rice is better than Winks. Like, at the same time, they're both English, and it's good to have them both. Like, we're lucky to have two young midfielders who are at a level where they're playing week in, week out.
It's crazy that is, because obviously we were talking earlier before the show about like how people praised Ethan Ampadu for his performance against Tottenham in the Champions League.
Play next league,
and that was like his first like start in, I don't know, forever, I think. Like, and do you think Wales fans are almost the opposite way of loading a player and putting all this praise on him when really, did he do that much really? Whereas the England fans are probably the opposite, aren't they, Mike?
We do love not so much in recent years, ever since the World Cup, the most recent one. But before that, we just love criticising each other. You see it in the media, like we just love bashing the team even when they're doing okay. But yeah, it's less so now. But I think it's more social media. You get fans, obviously want to see their players playing in the team. But we got a good set of young players. I don't think we'll make much of an impact at the Euros, but never know.
Mike, were England the fourth best side at the World Cup?
That's a loaded question. That were we?
Because we do have a lot of banter, and obviously
I'd say
Wales.
if Tom was here,
been in the semis.
Were we the fourth best side? Probably
Guaranteed.
not. Were we the second best side out of the last four? Probably, yeah. I think we'd have given France a better game than Croatia did, and I was pretty gutted when we lost to Croatia because I think we should have beat them. And it's just defensive errors which cost us. Well,
obviously you got a bit of a striker crisis now. Do you think you should have brought on Jamie Vardy with 20 to go?
Yeah.
I think always bring on Jamie Vardy. He's the solution to everything.
Do you think he's going to come back then for the Euros?
I don't think so. I feel once you've made your mind up with that sort of thing, it's difficult to go back on it. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to. But he's not looking to the future, which I think is more what Gareth Southgate is trying to do. There's a bit of a shift in focus. I think we'll make the quarterfinals of the Euros, but I don't think we'll go any further than that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't hold out much.
I'm surprised that only the quarterfinals. Surely you got to be aiming for the final. It's seen as it's at Wembley.
Yeah, but I think people underestimated us in the World Cup, which played into our hands, because I think it's quite easy to just say, yeah, England don't do well in major tournaments, so they're usually quite an easy game.
I reckon give Mike some credit. He's actually an England fan with realistic
expectations.
I think that comes from being a West Ham fan. I've literally had the optimism
living in
beaten
Wales
out of me, to be honest. So.
just being around Welsh people just lowers your expectations.
No, it's alright though, because we do get a lot of you only beat Panama however many. It's like, well, I watched Wales beat Panama.
Don't go there, Mike.
So I watched that game and it was horrific. We did. I don't know how Wales didn't win.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a friendly.
It was a friendly, but Wales battered them.
You can beat Belgium twice, and we beat them with one.
How long ago was that?
Only 2 years. There's only 2 years difference.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only 2 years.
And Wales,
same Belgium team.
So hang on, how many games was it against Belgium? We drew with them away, Harry Wilson's debut when the qualifying was done. Then we drew with them away again, didn't we? And then we beat them at home, and then we beat them in the Euros. So that's out 4 games.
And they had Hazard, De Bruyne, and all them, Lukaku.
So on this basis, Panama are one of the best teams in the world. Is that what we're?
But no, because that was a friendly.
You can't say about us not beating Panama when you couldn't beat Belgium twice. When they had,
but I don't bring up Panama.
We were 1-0 up against Panama, and we must have brought on about
we missed
5
a penalty
players
as well.
Who were had on like 2.
We weren't playing anyone really.
Yeah. I will agree that the England World Cup run wasn't as spectacular as
No, it wasn't.
perhaps it could have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still.
It was
as being a
great.
fan,
No,
it was great.
yeah.
to
You
be
can
a
only
part
beat
of.
what's in front of you.
I don't
It was a
care if we
great
win every game
spectacle.
1-0 with Harry Kane scoring a penalty every game. If we won the World Cup that way, I'd be delighted.
If I played with Harry Kane, I'd hate it.
But you'd still find someone
Absolutely
criticise
hate
you for that, wouldn't they?
Everyone criticises everything.
It's ridiculous
At the
these
end
days.
of the
isn't
day,
it?
it just comes from jealousy.
Since we're comparing England's run and Wales' run in 2016, in terms of respective achievements, what would you say was the bigger achievement?
It's got to be Wales, haven't
It's
it?
got to be Wales.
Wales,
But
How
I
many
know
people-
people can easily say it's the World Cup. It's
But look at the
Yeah.
squad difference between the two. No one expected Wales to top the group. No one expected Wales then to beat Belgium like they did.
This is the crazy thing, though, because if you look back at that group, we hammered Russia, and I think Russia drew with England.
I was there.
We lost to England in the last minute.
Just about lost.
And
They drew
beat
1-1.
Slovakia,
We were a
which is
difficult
never
team.
an easy
Slovakia were a
game.
good game.
Northern Ireland was
Who
a
at the
bit.
time,
Yeah.
Northern Ireland at the time were on a decent run anyway.
Beat Belgium, second best team in the world at the time. And then obviously you come up against Ronaldo with 2 suspensions in the semi-final. So, you know,
Respective underdog stories. I think Wales' achievement is greater, but at the same time, you can't beat the World Cup.
Yeah.
I did love the slack we
You
got.
do have the best teams from all over the world at the World Cup.
yeah, I agree that you can only play who's in
No, but
front of you as well.
the thing is, there's a lot more novelty teams in the World Cup, like
yeah.
the likes of Tunisia and Panama, who are in your group.
Trinidad and Tobago,
Whereas-
2006.
You're much more likely
Togo.
to constantly play hard opponents in the Euros.
Yeah, I personally believe the Euros harder. Personally,
That's
Yeah,
why I
just
don't. That's why I
better
don't like
teams.
they've expanded it to 24 teams. Because when it was 16, it was 16 good teams.
Mm.
There are now, as you said, there is a couple of novelty teams in there that you do expect to beat.
I mean,
But that only
How
really
often
comes in the
Iran are
group
gonna be
stage.
in it?
Well, coronavirus pending. Cole, you'll be out in.
I've spent
Baku.
£600 on flights and accommodation.
You spent your student loan.
Yeah, pretty much. Most of it. That's why I'm on a budget right now.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. It's going to be good because I went to France in 2016, and that was obviously all over the country. But here, it's in one city. We've got 2 games in one city, so the Red Wall is going to be dominating the city for the whole week. It's a good experience all round. Really, it's a really good holiday. Like, you get to meet fans from different countries, and get drunk every night.
Do you know if you're staying where Wales are being based, or do you know staying near there?
I don't have a clue about
Because
that.
obviously in France they were just walking around, going like meeting fans as if it was just like nothing. Are you staying out there for a few days?
I'm out there for 7 days. For
Bloody
a
hell.
week. Yeah. To get back, I've got to go via Georgia and Latvia. So I'll be in 5 countries in one day on the day I'm coming back. Which
Cheap
is
beer
pretty
over there, bud.
daunting. Yeah. Nice. It's a really good experience. I remember from 2016, we were in a place called La Rochelle. I think Ireland were playing Belgium nearby. We just went in some random club. I think it was a gay bar actually. And they played the Welsh national anthem.
Why did we
Some
laugh
really
then?
Weird
It was so childish.
some really weird operatic version of the Welsh national anthem came on, and everyone was just like, "What the fuck is going on here?" We were just there belting it out, and then we came out, and there was an absolute herd of an Irish constituency.
But didn't the Welsh fans get on well with everyone else apart from the English fans?
Wales fans sort of saved England fans from Russia, didn't they?
Oh, here we go.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
We'll fight them on the beaches.
Getting more political on the
I've heard the US fans came over as well. So
We'd go out in the streets, and obviously the Will Grigg song was a massive hit back then.
Yeah.
So you just see Irish people
What do you mean-
speakers
what do
on
you
their
mean
heads.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, good old days.
Black and white Mike.
I still get PTSD every time that comes on.
Right, we actually talked the other day about the squads, who we're going to pick. We're not going to talk about who's going to be picked. Any surprises, do you think? Do you think Robson Khan is going to go?
No.
I
No.
want him to.
Christian
Yeah.
Doige.
No.
I think Khan
Are you gonna
completely
pick
depends on Giggs.
No.
Giggs and his principles.
Kick Gareth Bale.
Huh?
I mean, on form, if you're based it on form, Robson Kanu has to go.
Yeah.
It's just whether Giggs is going to stay loyal to the players.
I think he will.
He's
Do you reckon?
selected throughout qualifying. But then again, Tyler Roberts and Sam Vokes actually didn't feature in qualifying.
Well, on that basis, Morale's got to start in midfield then, haven't he?
Morale will go. I think
He's just good for morale.
he's such a dad.
Did you hear that
That's
then?
the
You
end
can
of-
tell
that's
he's
the
the
end of the
oldest.
podcast,
Like we're
that.
coming out with jokes like that.
With the laughter track.
The last straight out of a Christmas cracker.
But no, Kiefer Moore's got to start. Do you see
Keep
the goal?
Moral start.
Do you see the goal he scored?
A couple of backheel goals in his last few games? Two backheel goals in 3 games he's got. That's brilliant. That's class.
Right. So, Mike, you said England are going to make the quarterfinals.
Yeah, the optimism flows. Over here.
Aim high, Mike. Aim high.
The violin's out.
Yeah.
Boys, what do you reckon about Wales' chances then?
I think we definitely get through the group.
Yeah, they get through the groups. I don't know
You
if
get
they'll.
3 qualifying from the group.
To
So
be
if
honest.
you don't get out of that, you won't hear the end of it.
There are
You're lucky we're finishing uni this year.
There are 15 teams in the group, though.
Yeah.
No, hopefully we finish
Kosovo's
second.
under 23s are in there. I think.
If we finish second, that's a trip to Amsterdam, I believe.
I think that's what everyone wants, doesn't it?
Of course, everyone wants a trip to Amsterdam.
Yeah, but they don't sell cannabis out there anymore, do they?
Yeah,
Bit,
banned
forget
it.
about me.
No, they're
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
about
sorry.
it. They haven't announced it. They haven't announced it.
Are they
They're
still?
thinking about
I
it.
The
think they'll
museums.
leave it till after.
They
after
won't
the
do it
Euros,
because it'll
so.
drop tourism by a solid 80%.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cut down on tourism because it's like
Yeah, it is. About
So if they
Too
finish
much of the toll.
third,
they'll lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
if they finish third, they're playing Redvallen.
Yeah,
Is that where it is?
yeah, they're playing at the local.
Right. Anyway,
Don't-
If
I
it's
do-
not underwater.
Can I just say I don't really like that format though.
why?
Finishing third and getting through. Portugal finished third in their group. Obviously the last winners. They didn't actually win a game in
90 minutes.
apart from the Wales game.
Yeah.
Semi-final.
That's
And they
another
won
thing,
the
though,
Euros.
innit?
That's pretty mad.
It does make when their victory of the tournament a little bit. It's like puts an asterisk next to it, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like
Are you saying this because ex-Swansea striker Adair scored in the final?
he was crap for Swansea. Though, so not too bothered by that.
I think
He's no back for Timmy Gomez.
they had in their group. They had Hungary, Iceland, and I think it was Austria.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
it was
finished
Austria.
third in that group and
Mm.
won the tournament. So
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really speak that greatly about the tournament.
this.
really.
This is what I
It
mean.
says a
They're-
lot about
they're
Wales actually. That they couldn't beat them.
expanding the tournament is just it's diluting the quality of it. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yorkshire are going to be in the next now. You watch.
Then having said that, back in
Gibraltar will be in there soon.
2004, Greece won it. So I mean,
That Greece side are brilliant, though, aren't they? Karagounis, Katsiranis,
Karisteas.
Gikas,
Stelias
Delas at the back.
Janopoulos, or is that his name?
Nicky
Oh,
Nicky
the Bolton
Papadopoulos.
from Bolton.
His name there. Sorry about that.
Karagounis and Katsiranis midfield. He did bits. Stelios Yankopoulos, who played for Bolton.
Janopoulos, that was his name, wasn't it? There you go.
Janopoulos. That's it.
There you go, I got it right. You can count at the
Zeus.
time. I got it right.
And
All this
that's for the
Greek talk.
Nations
I want a
League.
kebab.
Garlic sauce.
The Nations League is just one massive mind fuck.
And that's the header for the show.
Six Nations.
Yeah, I still don't think.
Is it League of
I've read
Nations?
all the like articles explaining it. I've watched all the videos. I still. I
Yeah,
couldn't
no one
tell.
really gets it. I think the players just go in to win. Because, like, even if you don't win the group, you can still go through, like, the playoff round or whatever it is to qualify. But, like, you're playing easier teams. I'm like, why would you want to finish top of it then?
Mm.
Yeah, but
If you can play easier teams.
the thing is, this is what is weird. Some teams had to rely on other teams qualifying for them to
Yeah.
have a playoff spot.
Well, Holland won it, didn't they? Right? Holland won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
Holland won what?
I don't think it
The
came to it. But
nations-
No, Portugal won it.
Well, Holland won it.
Holland didn't win it.
Portugal won it. Oh, they had to play Holland in the final,
Yeah.
didn't So
games
weird.
could have easily got fixed if it came to it. Like that scenario could have happened when a
Mm.
team was relying on another team beating them
Yeah.
for them to get a playoff spot.
Well, to be fair, then in
So
defence,
it's really flawed. There's so many holes in UEFA right now.
to be fair, then in Mike's defence about Belgium, did England really want to win that game against them in the World Cup in the group stage? Because obviously, if England lost, which they did, they went on to play Colombia in the.
It's not my defence. We just lost that
Yeah.
game because we weren't as good as them.
Yeah, but you did put a second. You did put a second side out though, didn't you?
I think you got
So did Belgium.
in a
Yeah, but Belgium second side.
in a tournament
But
like that. you
That's a
do-
Chadley.
It's probably most people. Januzaj.
Yeah, I'll take both.
Almost
No,
did.
you do have to have a look in terms of resting players.
It's like when we play a FIFA tournament. You know, you got a game, couple of days later, you got to rest a couple of the lads. You know.
Any other general shit we want to talk about, boys? Are we feeling?
What was this? One of the counselling we got now, is it? How you feeling? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll edit that.
Well,
bit.
Kogan FC have actually made a new signing in the form of Daniel Cope.
Oh yeah, I signed up for Cole's team.
Did you?
Yeah, it's not going too bad. Well, we haven't actually played a match yet because of the weather. Every storm going.
Yeah, didn't you have like a problem like remembering the names?
No, I didn't know any of their names first session, so we had a bit of a quiet game. Second
the ball.
second training session, I actually did a lot better, and like so you start to know people more. So it was actually alright.
Were you like Mark off Peep Show? Mark your
What
bibs.
position did you go in and say you were?
It's hard, right? Because I'm a right winger, but they don't play any wings, so like
We play a very narrow
so it's like,
formation.
I was
formation
finding
did you play?
myself drifting
We play
out wide accidentally.
4-1-2-1-2.
4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Nice.
Yeah.
So
we
we're
sort of
We're going to
dominated
go
the field.
FIFA. I keep bringing up FIFA. It's not because I like it.
Because he writes for it.
Real Gaming 101.
There's your plug. There's your plug.
Mikey Wick.
So how are you going to fit in that formation then?
Well,
because I've seen you play.
I'm thinking going wing back because as you see me shut up. You see me play, and you've seen that I play either wide, right, or left. I'm not like, but in training I sort of played on the wing, and you said I did. You could tell I'm more suited to out wide, so I'm probably just gonna go for the wing back position.
Damn, bigging
I'll
himself.
try and go for that.
Oh my
Are you more of
god.
a play on the left, cut in, or are you more go
I can
down the
do
right,
that.
get to the byline and whip
But
one
I can
in?
also do that, so I don't mind
can do
either way.
both.
Can do both.
Do you get him behind?
Such a child.
What?
Yeah, well, it's obviously got to watch your offside trap, but I think I consider myself quick enough to get him behind. Yeah, I'm not.
I think that's the best thing.
How many-
That's the best
I'm
thing.
I'm quick.
that's
I've played
happened.
on the wing.
You're
every time
quick?
I've played football since for 16 years. So
You quick?
So you played for the Vale.
yeah,
The most famous thing on your footballing TV, isn't it?
yeah. That's
If
my
you've
CV.
ever had a
That's my
bad
CV
game,
on it.
has your manager sort of pulled you off?
I've come off. Yeah, a couple of times. I came off for half time a couple of times.
Well, he
If I was-
pulled
if I
you
was-
off.
Not like say right off. Like if I was on a quiet game,
I
he'd
don't
drag
think
me
you
off.
should
Yeah,
have been pulling anyone off.
Nah, you shouldn't, should
Not
you?
at that age.
Yeah,
But he
yeah,
actually
yeah.
pulled you off.
Not technically, no.
How many times did it take you to do that? Mate, have you ever been pulled off?
Not by my manager, no.
Only when he goes to Edinburgh does he get pulled off.
Oh.
Now.
Podcast terminated.
Moving on.
Yeah, Ofcom have it out now.
Anything, boys?
Not a lot happened.
Other than questioning Dan on his footballing ability, then
I love how as if I'm shit. I'm actually not shit. I don't think. I'm not saying I'm like you're
to be
as good
fair,
as you.
one of the star players in the USW sports journalism team, definitely Dan Cope.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are we ranking the players?
Well, obviously
Yeah.
you're the best.
Are
like,
we
there's two
ranking
ways.
the
Oh,
players in the
Arsenal.
journalism? No.
Based off what you've seen of me, where would I rank?
You're good. I'd probably say you're second behind him.
I've not seen you play, so I'm excited to see the new.
He's got a
signing
good
in
left
action.
foot. I give him.
We need to get a game on in that.
I'm probably
I'll take
third.
that. I tell you what,
Oh no, Ethan's quite good.
I'm the star man.
Ethan's alright, to be fair.
I don't know how good Ethan would be up top. I think
Tom-
defensively he's good.
Yeah.
I thought
I don't know if he can get
Tom was an interesting player because as awful as he may have potentially been, he did score.
A hat
And that's-
trick, which my nan could have
But
probably.
I mean that's one thing a lot of our players didn't do, which
Yeah,
was
sure.
score.
Bobby, who had
So
Yeah, should we
Charles
talk?
and
Should we talk about that game?
the less said about the defending, the better.
Let's
but-
say about the goalkeeper, the better. Jordan Alexander Jones of Club Peldroid, may I just say?
Yeah,
the owner.
Call him out. Call
The
him out.
owner.
I'm calling him out. Kicked the ball into his own net.
Yeah, but what happened
Out of his
before that?
hands.
Right. So we basically played last year, the first year sports journalism students, and we were 1-0 up at half time, I think, weren't we?
Oh, I don't
Was
know.
it? No, we
No,
were.
we were solid about 4, 5,
thought we were
6
getting
0 down.
hammered.
No, we were 1-0 down. Like we split the game into like quarters, didn't we?
Quarters, isn't it?
4 quarters. So we 1-0 up after the fourth quarter,
No one can run.
after
yeah.
the first quarter,
5 quarters,
and then
isn't
we
it?
just couldn't run, and then we went 9-1 down. Was it 9-1 down?
We were just
and then
pissing
a
about.
change of formation.
Change of formation.
Saw us come
We
roaring
basically had
back.
what 6 defenders and 6 attackers or something like that.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't make 11 down. So
Did we play 11? I can't
yeah,
remember.
well, yeah, we only had 12 to start with, and one of them lay on the bench the whole time.
Jamil
so-
slept on the bench.
Yeah.
That's how good the game was.
So Jamil, you're coming on. He said,
The greatest game in history, and Jamil sleeping on the
I
touchline.
tell you what. To be fair, to come back from how it
9-1.
at 9-1, and to come back to get to 9-0, and then for it to be taken away so cruelly.
Yeah, so basically it was the last play of the game, and the first years had a free kick. Ball comes over the wall. Jordan makes a magnificent save. We're all jumping on him,
Going
like his
nuts,
glasses is falling off his
At
head.
the same
greatest
time,
day of his life, wasn't it?
at the
Greatest
same
moment of his life.
At the same time, I think it was me and you on the halfway line, Dan.
Me, the only ones
Yeah.
attacking. Because
So
we
me
thought
and
we could
Dan
nick
were on the
So basically,
halfway
that's all
line,
Jordan-
We're ready for a counter attack.
That's all Jordan had to
We
do.
would have got it. We would have
Is
scored.
kick the ball upfield, Mikey and Dan
But
one on
also,
one.
we were saying kick it out so it went straight to penalties.
Yeah.
Which he did try to do.
He tried kicking the ball out, but instead, he kicked it in his own goal and we lost 10-9. So,
I mean,
thanks, Stuart.
Granted, I've played for various teams in my life at various levels of competition, but I think that loss hurt the most. I do. I think that really got to me.
We were so low after that,
I was
weren't we?
really quite bothered about it.
That's when I turned to the drink.
Can we just appreciate Dan swiping at the speed of a light?
I'm a lonely guy. I'm actually the only single guy on this course as it goes.
I'll tell you what.
I know what's happening.
Nothing, that's the issue.
There's definitely one incident in the game that I think upset me as well, is when I was told by another member of the journalism course that they were going to take a free kick over me, which I don't that's not an ego thing.
Oh, come on, name names.
I will.
Nobody messes with it.
Nobody messes with a nobody.
I mean, that's why I didn't say anything. But yeah, we had a free kick. I probably wouldn't have scored anyway. But it's not an ego thing. But I mean, if you're gonna take a free kick off me, at least clear the grass.
I'm intrigued to know who.
It was the mighty Richard Early who was marauding the left.
I turned into Jason Statham from Mean Machine, and I was like, "Give Mikey the ball!"
Yeah, and he refused to get. To be fair, he hit the target.
Yeah,
I mean,
he did hit the target.
It was ankle height.
Ankle height on Bryn.
There was no power.
That reminds me of that tackle I put in him.
I know. You went ankle out on Bryn. Took him out.
It was only like a charity five-a-side thing, wasn't it?
You forced him to quit uni.
I did actually. No, I didn't. I can't admit to that.
Take credit for it.
Different story, that one.
Yeah, different story for another day. But
that's
yeah, we're finished now, Cole. He's shaking. He's shaking.
Withdrawal. Yeah, 10 minutes since his last bag.
Anyway, thanks for coming on the show today, boys. We'll see you soon.